lot was said in the National Assembly just now about Region 1 and a lot of things not being done, hospitals undone. You've been in Region 1 for quite some time. What is the reality of what's happening there?
Yes, so of course, I thought it important for me to step out of the house and to bring some clarity too on this issue, because I'm not speaking until tomorrow as the Minister of Amranian Affairs. And so I thought that I should bring clarity immediately to some of these misinformation that's being peddled, because it doesn't speak so well when leaders can be able to come to, a place like the National Assembly and say untruth, to peddle untruths, and to bring information that's farther from the reality on the ground. And so, like you rightly said, I was born in Moruca. I spent all of my childhood there, most of my adult life. I've served as a teacher at the school, and I, would have started my career in sports as well. And so, to begin, the what was said in terms of the Comarca District Hospital, of the mortuary not functioning, of the Mabruma Hospital where mothers have to fetch water, where there's no running water at Port Kaituma. These, when I came out, I immediately called the RHO because, these are things that should not be happening. And I was reliably informed that this is far from the truth. What's happening in Moruca, it's not factual. The mortuary is functioning as we speak, and only in December there was a post-mortem done there. Body was stored there. In Mabruma, I have video evidence of the water flowing. The same thing in the Port Kaituma District Hospital. And we have been advancing healthcare in Hinterland over the last 5 years. Specifically, so Moruca, where I'm from as well, we would have seen there, we would have had begin the construction of a new hospital that is much similar to the Diamond Hospital, the Lima Hospital, and that facility will be expected to provide all of the services. And so, of course, we have to creep before we can crawl, before we can walk. And this is a step in the right direction. And in the past, I've served as vice chairman for Region 1, and I've traveled extensively across the region. I've seen firsthand the development that would have happened. In about 5 years ago, when we were in opposition, there was the hospitals were short on drugs, no Panadol, or rather, Panadol was the only thing that was there at the time. Every pain, anything you had was Panadol. There wasn't any other drug. There was only maybe one dentist needle in the entire region. I remember those times clearly. And so, the reality on the ground today, it's far from what would have been said, and also about the ministry. But I will touch on that in my presentation, because the budget, and you see, the thing is that they can't be able to scrutinize the budget because they don't know how to look, where to look. It's all there, and the investments are many, and I will talk about Amranian Affairs when I speak on my sector. But for Region 1, the transformation, it's unmatched. We have not seen this kind of investment, and the life that we are accustomed to now, it's not as it was before. And the measures are there too. The housing, that's addressed. Dr. Ashni Singh would have said in the measure there's help for housing, and we have started this to every single village, not only in Region 1, across the hinterland. Have gotten $3 million as a start for the most vulnerable, to help with the roof, whether there's repairs to homes, zinc sheets, and all of that have been addressed already. And I have said it before, and I will say it again, that Menabing come, Menabing no, and they are now coming into this and seeing, but they don't realize the amount of work we have put in to actually developing the hinterland from where we were. And I've said it before in many of my speeches in Parliament, where we are today, it's not where we want to be, but compared to where we were about 5 years ago, we're 100, maybe 1,000% better. And it's only going to get better with Budget 2026 and moving forward too under this government.
You also mentioned you started your career in sports.
Yes.
I heard this claim that sports is not being looked after in the region. Having that type of background, what have you seen in relation to sports in the region?
Well, of course, I would always advocate for more to be done. But what we must say is what has been done. And in Region 1, not only Region 1, but across the hinterland, this government has, for the past 2 years, given $1 million to every single village for 2 consecutive years. That's 254 villages, 254 million times 2. That would have been given to every single village, because we don't want any village to feel left out. Sports, as Amranian people, sports it's as youths and Amranian youths, it's our life. I grew up playing football, And we have invested through the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Only about a month ago, myself and Minister Stephen Jacobs were in Santa Rosa, the very village. We met with the youths. They would have told us what their priorities were. One being relocating the facility from where it is at Comaka to a bigger space in the 2 Mile Shortcut area. And Minister Jacobs would have listened, and we already have plans in place to look at that facility, making it one of the premier grounds in Moorooka. In the Mabruma sub-district, well, there were major investments. There's plans for a sports facility, the entire works of a sports facility. And in Port Kaituma, we have moved, and keep setting aside all the other grounds from the 253. We have placed focus on Pittsburgh ground as well as part of our enhancement program. And so, like I said, if you're going to ask me if sports is where we want it to be, I'm going to say no, it's not as yet. But I'm going to say again, given the amount of work we have done in Region 1 and the entire hinterland, we are way, way, way better. And the plans are that it will be better, much more better.